Hello everyone and welcome to the Key Assets Australia Impact Report launch. I'm Dr Diane Jackson, CEO of Key Assets Australia, and I'm thrilled that we've got so many people in the room today and joining us online. I would like to acknowledge that we're on Ngunnawal country today, but I would love to now introduce you to my colleague, who I've done lots of work with over the last few days, and we've got to know each other so much more. He's a Withathi, did I get it right? Withathi, from the Withathi Nation in the Torres Strait, and he's going to welcome us to country. So please welcome Jono.
Ooh, I didn't know I'd be standing up here today. But I want to apologise to everyone because I accidentally booked our Welcome to Country guy and at a wrong time. So here we are. I just want to thank everyone for being here today. For our young people and their families, and everybody that means the world to them. I'm going to read you an acknowledgement to country, and I asked my sister if I could use one of her acknowledgements, and she did this quite a while ago, and so we acknowledge the deaths. We acknowledge the respect to the Ngunnawal people, the traditional custodians and our ancestral lands we're on. We acknowledge the depth and strength, source, the relationship with country provide the Ngunnawal, and we pay our respects to what was, what has been, and what will be under their custodianship. We pay our respects to their elders and custodians of place, knowledge, both of those of the past and those that guide us now. We pay respect to our First Nations people from other countries and their elders and their sources of strength. We also pay our respects to the stolen generation survivors, their families, descendants. We recognise the intergenerational trauma that remains and the commitment to help build an Australia that can heal. Thank you and welcome everybody.
Thank you so much, Jono, and thank you for stepping in at the last minute and still really powerfully welcoming us to country. I have acknowledged the Ngunnawal people, but I want to just spend a couple of moments saying that this land that we stand on today has brought quite a number of us in the room some really deep healing this week and really deep learning about our history, what we need to know and what we need to know to move forward. So I want to acknowledge that we've experienced that in this place that's surrounded by the history that we have. And I also want to pay respects and acknowledge, I guess, to our New Zealand colleagues in the room. They've been with us for the last 3 days as well. And we have Maori leaders in this room today who have shared and supported and enabled us through their culture as well. And it's been a remarkable coming together that those who've experienced it will be changed forever. And I just wanted to publicly say that to everybody today, that this place will forever be very, very special Ngunnawal land to us. So it's my greatest pleasure to extend a warm welcome to our carers, our young people, our government partners, our service providers, our staff and our board directors. And whether you're in the room with us or tuning in online or from one of our very big jurisdictional events around the country, thank you for being part of what is always a very special day for us, which is the launch of our impact report. I would like to make a special mention to those joining us in person in the room, and there's lots of you and it's wonderful to see you all. And this includes Jodie Griffiths. Thank you, Jodie, for coming. Jodie is the ACT Public Advocate and Children and Young People Commissioner. Our passionate carers in the room with us today, Michelle, Belinda and Carla, and all of those carers that have joined us online. Our young people from our Key Assets Young Person Impact Collective. The board and our executive have spent an amazing morning with that collective group this morning, and I'm so glad that we've got you joining us for this today. Our valued government and sector partners, the Martin James Foundation and its new incoming chair, Carolyn Hausman. It's lovely to have you here, Caroline. And our global affiliates who have joined with us for the last 3 days, from the Key Assets Network in New Zealand and Canada and the UK, and the Martin James team. It's been wonderful to have you, and it's lovely to have you here today. We really appreciate your presence and your contributions to today's events. So we gather to celebrate the difference Key Assets Australia has made over the past year. And being here in the ACT, our newest service area, makes this occasion even more special. And thank you, Lucy, for everything you've done to have a new jurisdiction up and running. Lucy Mitchell is our ACT Director here. So the event isn't just about looking back at the impact the impact that we've achieved, but also about looking forward to the path ahead. A highlight of today will be our panel discussion with some of our remarkable carers. They will share their journeys, the challenges they've faced, and their inspiring vision for what care could look like in the future in Australia. First though, I would now like to introduce our board chair, Craig Lawn, to speak to his chair's report. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Di, and welcome everyone. Just at the outset, I'd also like to acknowledge that we're on Ngunnawal country, and specifically to thank, we call them our cultural practice leads, our collective, and specifically I want to thank Crystal, Elaine, Beryl, Aslan, Courtney and Jono. And Crystal, I'm not sure how many are in the room actually, but there'll be many online. Thank you for how you guide us. And Crystal in particular, I just want to recognise you for amazing courage and leadership that you've shown for us this week. For those in the room and for those online, you'll be getting this wonderful document. There'll be a small test afterwards, so make sure you read it well. In this, what we've tried to do is trying to collect, and some of it is actually a great opportunity for us to reflect on what difference have we made. We all start with wanting to make a difference, but take time to reflect and look back to learn so we can move forward stronger. And in doing that, the report shows what we believe is significant positive impact on children and young people, the reason why we exist and why we are listening to them and why we had the session this morning. And also our part in trying to get systemic change, because the system itself also needs to change, not just us. It's been a very special week, as Di said, about the collaboration that we've been through, and Di's already recognised our colleagues from New Zealand, Canada, the UK, as amazing. We are in a unique position to be able to share best practice, great stories, and to share tears and laughter with our colleagues from across the world. I don't think anyone else in Australia is doing that, right? And that was a very special, again, we had that this week and we continue to do that. And the report indicates this is our first year of our new 5-year strategic plan and a new vision. How can you be around for 18 years and not have a vision? That is unacceptable, right? So we've always had purpose, we're driven by purpose. But we said we want to have a new vision. And we listened to our young people, We were guided by our cultural practice leads, and it seems pretty simple, but it actually is very, very important for us to drive how we think and our decisions every day. All children and young people will thrive, not just survive, thrive, and they will be connected to family, community and culture. So what a year 2025 has been, okay? So Key Assets Australia, across Australia, has looked after nearly 2,500 children and young people. Of those, about 637 are young people that are Aboriginal or Torres Strait Island. We've worked with and helped 356 families. And there've been over 1,400 carers that we've been partnering with to work and support those children and young people. And 123 of those new carers are new to Key Assets Australia. I just want to take a moment for those carers that are in the room and are online, just to pause in your own heart, just to recognise what you do. It's incredibly humbling. I get emotional thinking about the love, the sacrificial love that these guys do. So just take a moment to pause on that. But alongside the good stuff, it's also been a challenging year. And it feels that Key Assets Australia, as well as many other providers, are facing very, very significant headwinds. And I get cranky that there are so many children still in emergency care, stuck in a hotel on a temporary basis with guards. Like, it's just unacceptable. Our system is under strain. What we do is important, and there's a huge need for us to address that. We need to work with the government, because it's a tough job balancing the financial resources to get this urgent need for reform and change. And we want to be part of that change. We want to be working with that to get that change. I'm so proud to be a chair of Key Assets Australia. At a personal level, in my life, in my career, it's one of my proudest and deeply enriching parts I've ever experienced. And part of that is just the privilege to walk around and listen. We spent this morning being grilled and listening to our young people, right? Wow, what a powerful morning. And Diane and I have had a chance to meet with the young people several times. And our strategy actually has that built in, that their voice is at the centre of what we do. It's easy to say, but I'm telling you, to change everything you do to make sure that the voice and we're listening is at the centre of everything we do is actually harder than you think. And we've been around for long, and I think we're really good. But this is a true revolution to try and flip that, to really ingrain it. So the Young People's Collective also has contributed significantly to actually writing our strategic plan. It looks different because of their voice. Even an idea they came up with last year is called a simple thing called a postcard. And you think, what's it? But that postcard, a way of engaging young people, their idea, their language, their cartoons, has changed how every one of our social workers interact with young people. That's their idea, that's changing how we do things every day, about how we have a conversation. And the new Young People's Impact Collective, which is bigger, right? We're trying to get as many voices as we can. We spent this morning, the board and the exec, with those guys. And now they are going to report on us. They've described it as the big person's report card, right? So we can listen to them, but how are we going to be accountable to them? We're accountable what we said we were going to do last year, and we put it in the impact report. And next year, we're transparent. The good, the bad, and the ugly, they're going to tell us, can we trust you guys? Right? We don't want hollow promises. Was that the statement on one of the stickers today, right? We're not hollow promises. We want action, and you're accountable. And I'm going to report on that. And I'm accountable. Di's accountable to that. The other bit that I get emotional about is when you just sit, as I said, with carers and with our staff, and when you hear the stories, it makes me, like, I want to do the very best I can to support, and our board does, and exec. But every time I just get so humbled and emotional hearing the stories and the love and the sacrificial love and the hardest. Even last night, talking, there was Michelle Brazilian, I think. Oh, you're going, oh, wow. You know. They humble you, they ground you, and they energise by just spending time with our carers and our staff. So we're so grateful for what they do and that we can partner with them. Another highlight this year, we spent this morning as a board, we try to when we have our board meetings, to just sit and listen. That's sometimes hard for me, right? We just got to sit and listen. So this morning we sat and we listened to our ACT team, our brand new team in the ACT. How exciting is that, right? Our newest office, this new team, right? And they're pumped. So that was great, just listening to those guys. It's such a big step forward. And we're committed to work not just alone, but to all the people, and when we had the launch, all of the other groups in the ACT and our government partners. We can't do it alone, right? But we are committed to do a new way, right? One of the staff members says, we asked, well, why'd you join? He said, I joined because I want to do it this new way, right? I want to bring what my ideas and do it a new way. So we are committed to that. And our reputation across Australia as a quality organisation, I'm proud to say that. It sounds like I'm being too proud, but I am. We're bloody good, and we're proud of that. And what we do in the ACT reflects that. But it's all hasn't been roses, a bed of roses. We had to make one of the hardest decisions we've had so far since I've been chair to actually reduce, not stop totally, but reduce our disability services. And we're not the only provider that's had to do that this year. But mate, that was tough. We're not stopping, but we had to reduce that significantly. We just we did not believe we were going to be delivering the very, very best. So we've helped transition and support those young people. We still remain deeply committed. We still remain deeply committed to have an allied health team as part of that. Getting towards the end, I just want to thank and recognise my board. Everyone wants to be part of a great team, okay? My team, Con, Lisa, Jenny and Jess, they are highly talented, far more talented than I, and deeply committed. They've got hearts as big as Farlap. So thank you for what you do every day. And for Di and a team, just as good, right? A powerhouse team, the exec, and Di, thank you for your leadership of guiding us forward and delivering for the young people who are going to hold us accountable. So, the next 5 years, it's not going to be easy. I'm excited by it, but it's not going to be easy. And it might be our hardest, perhaps, 5 years, I think, as an organisation, as a sector. But I'm ready. So 2026, bring it on.
We're very agile. The microphone's not working properly, or is it working properly now? Is it working? No, you want me to talk to this? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Craig. So much in that, and so inspiring the way you talk about our organisation. It's wonderful. So as I look back on this past year, I've been reflecting on just how far we've come as an organisation. I feel incredibly proud of our staff and our carers and of the children and young people. We walk alongside you, and you've brought us so much heart, so much courage, and the honesty to be really frank with us on the work that we're doing. The opportunities that I've had this year to connect with carers are always powerful, and listening to their experiences and your stories always grounds me. It's why we're here and why we do what we do. It was a really special time. I visited our Norfolk Island office early this year, and I just happened to be there when our first approved community carers joined the organisation. What a wonderful celebration. I have to say it took years for that to happen because of the system, really. But wow, those carers are fantastic, and they're just so reflective of the carers that we have right across this country. We're so grateful for what you do for the organisation. So together we've taken some really big steps forward in embedding lived experience at the centre of everything that we do. And Craig said it, it's early days, we know that. But even now we're starting to see how this shift is already helping us to create deeper impact and better outcomes. One of our proudest achievements this year was developing and beginning implementation of our new theory of change and strategic plan that Craig referred to when he was talking. And what I love most about that is it just doesn't say what we're going to do, but it says how we're going to do it, and the how is really, really important, because at the heart of it is something so that we're all so passionate about, and we've made a formal strategic commitment to listening to children and young people, acting on what they tell us, and then feeding it back to them so they can actually see the difference that they are making. And that is so powerful in an organisation such as ours. And it's not just good practice, it's about respect. And it's about power sharing in a real and tangible way. And I hope that our young people are experiencing that. Certainly this morning I think we had an experience of that together. And Craig has just touched on the Young People's Impact Collective. This was originally our Young People's Working Group, which has grown to a much larger network. These young people are working with us to shape the direction of our work. We're setting up local groups so they can share their insights, and they can drive change right where they live, not just nationally but locally in where they are. We're so proud today to have been able to invite two of these young people, JJ and Cleo, and they're going to help us facilitate the conversation with our carers in our panel a little bit later. But by continually bringing young people into the conversation, we're focused on how we can centre young people in our impact measurement to enable better accountability to children and young people. We're also co-creating a new national impact framework, and for the first time, and we are so proud of this as well, children and young people are directly involved in helping design those performance measures. We haven't ever done that before. I don't know who else might have done that, but certainly we are so proud of that, you know, that young group who are telling us what good looks like, what good, you know, what not so good looks like, and how are we going to change things. And we all know this, you know, we need to hear from them, because if we really want to know whether we're making a difference, we need to ask the people that it actually matters the most to, and that's our young people. Another major step forward this year was launching our National Child Safeguarding Framework. And this represents something that we all in this room and online take so seriously. And that's our collective accountability to children and young people. We know that real change, the kind that lasts across generations, starts when we stop doing things to children and young people and start doing things with them and for them in partnerships, whatever that partnership needs to look like. A real highlight for me this year was travelling to Scotland, where I got to present our youth accountability work at the International Foster Care Organisation conference. And I was so proud to do that, and so proud to be able to say that we've taken steps to embed the voices of young people and children in our strategy, in the way that we do our work, and that this folds into how we enable and support carers, because it's through carers that we actually are really accountable to children and young people. And that link actually wasn't that clear in some people's minds. So it was really, really important to not only present what we're doing, but to learn that we're probably pushing the boundaries with some of this stuff, and it's great. And of course that means that we're moving beyond consultation and we're building accountability into KAA as a system, and we now regularly talk about in the organisation through a systems change lens, but Key Assets, the organisation, is the system that we're changing and transforming to be better. And yes, hopefully we have ripple effects out, but actually how do we transform ourselves to actually change outcomes? Excuse me. Something that's really close to my heart, and we've all, Craig and I have both touched on it already, is our Cultural Practice Collective. And this group of amazing Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in our organisation has continued to lead some of the most important work that we do, particularly with our First Nations children and families. I was so proud to stand alongside the collective at the 2024 Indigenous Leadership Summit, where they shared KAA's journey towards collective leadership and two-way cultural governance. And we did that in a yarning circle that was so powerful and so deeply respectful. And in parallel, our Reconciliation Action Plan working group, with the support of the collective, has worked really hard to finalise our stretch wrap, which we'll be launching early in the new year. This is another step forward for us on our journey of reconciliation, and one we're deeply committed to continuing. And we'll continue to learn from our Cultural Practice Collective about what true co-leadership really means and how we can better support families so that more children, especially First Nations children, stay safely at home. I want to say thank you now to our Chair, Craig Lawn, and to the KAA Board. Your support, your vision, your belief in us as an organisation, in the leadership of the organisation and all of our staff keeps us moving forward, and we so deeply appreciate that. To our staff and leaders across the country, I've been really lucky to visit many of you this year, and I see the passion and the purpose that you bring to every conversation, every decision, and every child. And I couldn't be more proud and thankful for that. And most of all, to the children, young people, carers and families who trust us with their stories and their futures, thank you. You are really the reason that we do this work. So the past year has laid the foundations for something really, really powerful, and I could not be more excited for the road ahead. So now I am really excited about what's coming next. Our opportunity for you all to hear directly from our carers. One of the most powerful ways to understand our impact is through the voices of the people that are at the heart of it all, and that's our carers. So today I'm honoured to be joined by three remarkable women who bring care, courage and commitment to the work that they do every day. We're thrilled to be joined by three of Key Assets carers, Michelle, Carla and Belinda, and our MCs for the panel discussion, Mel Hayes, who's our Queensland State Director, and two of the members of our Young People's Impact Collective, JJ and Cleo. So please join me in welcoming them all to the state.
Thanks, Di. Okay, we're going to start now just by getting a little bit of an understanding of the journey of each of our carers. If I can start with asking each of you just to introduce yourselves, give us your name, a little bit about where you've travelled from today, and also how long you've been foster or kinship caring, both overall and with Key Assets. So I'll start with you, Carla.
Hi, my name is Carla and I have travelled from Bunbury in the southwest of Western Australia. My family and I have been foster carers with Key Assets for almost 8 years now.
Thanks, Carla. Michelle, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Michelle. I'm visiting from Kaurna Country, Adelaide. I've been a kinship carer for 9 years of my nephew, and I've also been a foster sibling, and my grandparents are grandparent carers, and I've been with Key Assets for 2 years.
Thanks very much for that, Michelle. And finally, Belinda.
Hi everyone, my name is Belinda, I'm from Western Sydney and I'm the carer of 4 amazing little children. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Belinda. Now I'm going to hand over to one of our young people. With Key Assets, our young people have told us that they need to keep us accountable and ensure that we don't only hear the voices of our young people, but equally hear and advocate for the voices of our carers. One of our young people, Cleo, is a big advocate to keeping KAA accountable to those carers' voices, and she's joined the panel today to help us elevate carer voices. So I'll hand over to Cleo to ask her first question.
Thank you. Belinda, we'll start with you. Personally, with this question, I take it personally because it took my carer like 20 years to actually have a clear reason why she actually chose to do foster caring. But I was wondering, what made you want to start helping young people who can't live at home, and what was that really important thing that pushed you to take that step to do it?
For me, I never chose it, it chose me. So very quickly, within a week of this, sorry, I can hear myself going back and it's really freaking me out. Okay, so in the beginning, I was contacted by kinship, care for a little baby girl. Within a week, she was placed in my care, so it happened very, very quickly. I was originally with DCJ, and then I changed over to Stretcher Family, and then I think it was about 2 months later, I moved over to Key Assets. I had no idea what I was doing. I was not educated, I had no information, but when I did come over to Key Assets, my caseworker at the time took the time to explain, to educate me, and I knew caring was always something that was easy for me. It wasn't, looking after kids is just easy. So with that in mind, before I could sneeze, and three years later, I had 4 kids. And I just want to share one little snippet of a conversation that I had with my 13-year-old daughter. A week ago, I asked her, if you could describe me in a colour, what would that colour be? And she said, black. I said, is that because I'm always in black? And she said to me, no. She said, you're unique. There's no other colour that can make you shine the way you do. Sorry. And she said, you're a little bit crazy. And she said, you have to be crazy because no one else on this earth would take 4 kids who are not biologically theirs and care for them every day the way you do. That's when I knew this had chose me. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. Thank you.
Thank you, that was a lot. Whoa, don't cry. What about you, Michelle?
My story, as I mentioned, is one of intergenerational out-of-home care. And I too didn't set out to be a carer, but I did choose to step up for family. And I guess it was a decision that was based in love and responsibility. My nephew, as an 18-month-old, was headed into residential care. And because I'd had experience in the sector, I knew that he would have no hope if that occurred for his life trajectory. And I think we're all familiar with the care to prison pipeline idea, and because of the trauma caused by systems that I'd witnessed firsthand, especially in residential care, I wanted to avoid that at all costs. I truly believe that family and cultural connection are the foundation for healing and a life well lived.
Thank you. And finally, Michelle.
Carla.
Carla.
Thank you.
I always wanted to be a foster carer since working in childcare at the age of 17, but my husband wasn't so sure. Then our fourth biological child was born with a rare disease. We lived in and out of Princess Margaret Hospital for 3 years until my son unfortunately passed away. Caring for Harley and living in a hospital changed our life. It opened our eyes to our most vulnerable children, the sick and the neglected. We knew before Harley passed away that when Harley wasn't with us anymore, that is what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to give back and help those that needed it.
I just wanted to say thank you. All those stories took a lot of strength to speak up and share. Just thank you. I did have another question for Belinda. Caring is a journey that changes you, often in unexpected ways. Belinda, what's been one of the moments that really stayed with you, and what's something you've learned?
4 kids, a lot of moments. How do you pick 1 or 2 moments to share in a short space of time with everyone? But the most significant moment for me was welcoming each and every one of the children that I had in care home for the first time. I'm gonna cry again. That marked a pivotal moment for me in my life. Each of these children come to me. They had their own stories, their own personalities, and their own challenges. In that time that I've had them, they've all challenged me, they've all pushed me, and, you know, they've all influenced me deeply, and they've all taught me valuable lessons. Empathy and patience, kindness and understanding, even about family and family values. But the biggest moment for me was 2.5 years ago. I'm such a crybaby today. 2.5 years ago, I went through a relationship breakdown, in which time I had to learn the biggest lesson, and that was to trust again. I had to trust in my agency that they would make the right decision. They trusted me and my ability to care for all 4 children. And with that, I had to trust my caseworker. The right decisions and the best interest of my kids would be at the first and foremost. Once that trust happened, beautiful things then were created. These kids and I, the bond is so strong, so tight, and the way they interact together, who are not siblings, it's just a beautiful, beautiful moment. And that's the best moment for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. They're really, really powerful stories, and I feel so blessed that I've got to hear all of them today, so thank you. I'm now going to hand over to JJ. So at Key Assets Australia, we're constantly asking how do we make sure we're truly listening, not just hearing, but being guided by the voices of children, young people and our carers. This is one of the reasons JJ joined the Key Assets Young Persons Impact Collective, and JJ has a couple of questions that he would like to ask.
Thank you. As someone with lived experience, it's important for young people and families to have their voices listened to. Michelle, what could be done to help people who lived experience share their experiences?
Thanks, JJ. I think first and foremost, people need to feel safe. Emotionally and practically, we need to be supported, but relational safety is number one. Before we can really speak and have our voices heard, many of us have regretted sharing too much or with the wrong people, and we've had information weaponised against us. So we need to have truly trusting relationships. True listening means creating spaces where lived experience isn't tokenistic, where it shapes policy, training and culture to its core. It means that we need flexible approaches with intensively trained staff, trauma awareness, neuroaffirming lenses and respect for boundaries. If we want real lived experience voices, we have to meet people where they are, not where the system feels comfortable. Collaborative practice is key. Genuine partnership between carers and practitioners often requires openness from both sides. Carers are expected to share deeply personal experiences and their lives, yet practitioners can remain guarded and procedural. True collaboration demands a reciprocal degree of openness and authenticity. The relationship shouldn't be one of hierarchy, but of mutual respect and shared responsibility, with a collective focus on children's well-being. Wherever unnecessary layers of power exist, they create barriers to functioning well. Oversight and accountability have their place, but excessive monitoring and paternalism, which, let's face it, is rooted in colonialisms, undermines trust and efficiency. Instead of assuming incompetence until proven capable, practitioners need to adopt the opposite stance. Presume carers' competence and commitment until there's clear evidence to the contrary. After all, you've trusted us in the first place. Professional expertise should never become a weapon of control. We need to strip power from relationships, but not the responsibility. Collaboration can work when both sides bring openness, humility, and shared regard for the children's growth and stability.
Thank you for that answer. Sorry. Thank you. Cara. Cara, from young people you have helped, what have you learned about why family and culture connections are so important?
Thank you. No matter what brought these children into care, their parents still love them. Contact and maintaining that connection to family is extremely important, but I think it's an area that's not done correctly yet. From my experience, even from young age, when babies are not coping at a visit or young people are saying no, we need to listen to their voice. My little people were forced to contact. They would be screaming and kicking and saying no, no, no. This forced contact has added extra trauma into my little people. I have spent the last 4 to 5 years trying to mend their relationship with their parents because they were terrified. Lucky for us, COVID hit, and that stopped the forced contact. From then, I was allowed to attend the contacts. Then eventually, I supervised them all. This was beneficial in so many ways. The girls were able to see us getting along, and they knew they were safe as I'd become their safe person. If children hear negative adult conversations about their bio parents, they start to think that's what you think about them. If mum's a bad person, then I must be too. This needs to stop. The other part of contact that's so important in my eyes is extended family, grandparents, etc. It's not the grandparents' fault, they're in care, and they are the ones missing out as well. I know in my case, my girl's paternal grandparents got asked to have my girls. I will never forget the day she made the decision. She called me first, crying, to tell me that she couldn't take them, as she lives on a farm too far away from hospitals and allied health workers. It broke her heart, that decision, but she thought with her head and not her heart, which was the hardest thing for her to do. I promised her that day that she will always be the girls' grandma and will always be part of their life. Last year she came over to WA for a holiday to visit. She stayed just down the road, came over every night for dinner and to tuck the girls in. They took in my biological girls as their own, and it was just a beautiful time. On Saturday that just went, I actually just got back to WA after a 6-week holiday. We drove our girls over to Queensland to their grandparents' property. They got to meet their mama, their great-grandma, their uncle, great-aunties and second cousins. It was the most magical time ever. Having these connections helped mend a bit of that trauma. It shows them where they come from and how much they are loved. It's also important for medical questions or school questions as they get older. So keeping our children connected to family, culture and country is very important to help our babies grow and develop.
Thanks very much, Carla. So, being a part of today's Impact Report launch and reflecting on the questions we've talked through, can I ask each of you, what message do you hope the wider Key Assets Australia community carries into the future, and what actions would you like to see from here? Michelle?
I feel like the time is right for systemic change within government, and I'd really like to see key assets walk alongside us as we as carers strive for that systemic change. I feel, that while we strive for those bigger changes, it's also important to stay anchored in what doesn't change, which is our love and commitment to children, and to always sort of have that at the core business of what we do. And to adopt, I guess, a more of a holistic family care lens, which I know is happening, and certainly it's happening in South Australia. We've started changing some of the language that we use to, address carers, not separating kinship and foster, but just calling us families. And those changes of language have had a big impact already. And I hope that we never lose sight of the fact that when we support carers, we're protecting children. Carers shouldn't ever be seen as a resource to be managed, but be seen as the relational anchor for those children. And I suppose the message that I'd really like to leave is that investment in carer wellbeing and peer support and collaboration is centring the child by centring the carer.
Thank you. Really wise words there. Thank you, Michelle. Belinda?
I think that was really well said. And as a carer, I think we can all agree that change needs to happen. But I really just want to take this moment and I really ask Mel if I can just change this end questioning up a bit, because it's about gratitude as well. And I've been given the greatest gift of all. And I couldn't do this without a team behind me. And I think I'm going to cry again. And I think that the team who are behind me is Sammy, my caseworker, who should be here on stage with me, because I couldn't care for these kids without the support of you guys. So I thank you for all the help that you have done to let me be the best carer that I could be, and you need to be thanked. Because that goes all the way up the chain to Inram, to Jenny, and also to James. I am so grateful for your continued support. We can sit here today, we can look at negatives, we can say we need change, we can look at the downside, but we need to start also being grateful. Grateful for the little milestones that we make to make the change. So I thank all you guys. I thank you for all having me here today. And I hope 2026 is a better year for all of us. Thank you.
Thanks, Belinda. And Carla?
What I'd like to see change or improve is our voices heard. Listen to our babies, listen to us as carers, because we are talking the words that our little ones have shared with us in their safe place when they feel safe to open up. I would like to see key assets have some more power from the department. They are the ones that know us, and they're the ones that know our children. In the southwest of WA, we are lucky. We have an amazing director, Brenda, and the best social workers, Jade, Helen, Heather, Georgia, who are working for change. Part of that change has been working with myself to help build the foster care village. Foster caring is a very isolating and lonely life. We have been building that village by doing monthly weekend support groups with our carers and our kids. Our social workers are giving up their families and Saturdays to spend a couple of hours with us. This builds that connection with us as carers and our children. Us carers are getting to know each other, and so are our children. This is building that village for all of us and is helping with the mental health of our carers and a bit with our children. I know it's now expanding to schools. Some of the kids that are fostered have found my biological daughter at high school and now count her as one of their safe people. How amazing is that our kids' village is growing? I would love this to extend outside of the southwest of Western Australia. However, if I got to choose one thing I wanted to change, I want to feel that you feel confident in me, my judgment and my ability to care, especially when it comes to NDIS and schooling and what our little people want and need. As I am their voice, I want to feel trusted and I want to feel heard. Thank you. And I just want to say a big thank you to Cleo and JJ. These guys are absolutely amazing and they are so brave, and I'm so proud of them for being up here today. So thank you guys.
I just need to second that. So thank you, Michelle, Belinda and Carla, not just for being here today, but for the work that you do every day. You make a real difference in the lives of children and young people, but also the staff, the board, everybody that hears the words that you have to bring to us today. It's profoundly impactful, and you probably will never realise how much. The same to our children that are here today, our young people, I should say. Everyone's taller than me on panel, so I should absolutely say young people. JJ and Cleo, you've been amazing today, and I know every time we've met to sort of discuss the panel, you've brought such great reflection and insight and made today what it is. So thank you very much. Can we just take a moment to thank the panel and our young people?
Thank you so much for that. The richness of your lived experience, I think, just resonated in this room today. And it just makes such a difference to an event like this to hear your voices. And I so appreciate the fact that you've given up your time to come and share that with us. I couldn't help but be struck by the love and commitment that came through everything that you were saying then. And that's why your children thrive with you, and the children in the rest of the country with the rest of our carers are thriving because of that love and commitment. And I am going to take away the phrase that you used, relational anchor for children. What a wonderful phrase. Let's hold on to that one, relational anchor for children. So thank you again. It's been wonderful to have you, and really, really deeply appreciated. Thank you. So as we come to the close of today's event, I want to extend my greatest gratitude to everyone here, both in person and online, for joining us. I also want to say thank you to Jess and Mel, who worked tirelessly in the background and their teams to pull this off today and to make it run smoothly, and it looks like there's no effort at all, but wow, is there an effort. So thank you to both of you and all the teams and the exec support that came in around this event today. Our virtual guests will soon be getting an email that'll have a link to the impact report, and we hope it inspires all of you as much as it does us by capturing the progress we've made and the lives we've actually touched through the last year. So now we look forward to 2026 with energy and hope and determination. And together, all of us, we will continue making a meaningful difference for children and young people across Australia. Thank you.